So we're going to do lesson 21. It explains that a person wants to be enthusiastic about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he wants to have fire. He wants to be on fire for Hashem. He wants to be able to get up and be motivated to do mitzvot, and motivated to learn. In such a situation, he says that a person has to constantly be praying and learning to be able to get this fire, and he has to constantly motivate his mind and motivate his heart to be able to come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He says, and through this, you're going to be able to remove the enthusiasm and the fire that sometimes we have for bad things, for evil things, for things against HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because a person, he says, a person has in his heart space and in his mind space, and you have to choose what to fill it with. A person can fill it with good things, or you can fill it with bad things. You're always learning, you're always getting influenced, but you choose. You're getting influence from good or influence from bad. You're getting motivated for good things or motivated for bad things. You're either going up or you're going down. Your heart and your mind is a placeholder. It needs something to be filling it. Therefore, if you're not filling it with Torah and mitzvot, you're not filling it in your evenings and in your mornings with learning or with praying, with something spiritual, then automatically you're going to fill it up with physical, with things, God forbid, that could lead to things against Hashem. So therefore, people who don't have a fire for Hashem, automatically they're excited and motivated for things that are against Hashem. Because a person has a Yetzer Hara, and if he doesn't have spirituality in his life to help him overcome his Yetzer Hara, Hashem tells us that the Torah is the spice of life. It's the mechanism. It's the antidote for us to be able to conquer the Yetzer Hara. So therefore, the fire of the Torah inside of us is going to help us put out the fire of the Yetzer Hara. He says, how do you make sure that you get that fire for Torah and mitzvot, and you get that enthusiasm for to serve Hashem, and you don't lose it? A lot of times people wake up enthusiastic about Hashem one day, and then the next day they fall apart. They were chazak, I'm going to be a Baal Teshuvah, I'm going to go and serve Hashem, I'm going to come nets every day, and I'm going to go to the mikvah, I'm going to go and learn, I'm going to go and give tzedakah, and he was so motivated for Hashem, and then the next day, boom, he fell, and he's not motivated, he doesn't want to move, he doesn't want to go anywhere, he doesn't want to do anything. And they said, yesterday, 2 days ago, last week, you were saying you were going to promise to do all these things, and you decide to change your ways, and now you're back to how you were in your old self. What happened to you? Why did you lose your enthusiasm? So he says a person has to guard his enthusiasm. He has to guard his fire for Hashem, because it could be put out. How could it be put out? He has to guard the entrances to this flame. Where are the entrances to this flame inside your neshama? He says it's the orifices. It's the ears, the nose, the mouth, the eyes. All these things are entranceways to your fire inside of you, and therefore a person has to guard them. And he has to have emunah and use them for the right things. He says they correspond to the 7 orifices on the face, right? The 2 eyes, the 2 ears, the nose and the mouth, and the 2 nostrils and the mouth. All these things are added up to 7, and these 7 correspond to the menorah, and the menorah is like a fire, it has 7 branches, and the person has to guard the fire of the menorah, the fire of himself inside of himself. And he has to guard it. That means that the person has to make sure he guards what he intakes through these orifices on his face. The person has to guard what he smells, he has to guard what he sees, he has to guard what he hears, and he has to guard what he eats. Now, all these things, or what he says, all these things could, God forbid, put out your fire. If a person who thinks, well, I'm learning Torah, and I'll go learn, I'll pray, and it's okay if I watch an appropriate thing, or it's okay if I eat something not 100% kosher, or it's okay if I listen to this person say Lashon Hara about somebody else. It's okay, I can handle it, nothing will happen to me. No, that could really be a wrong thought, because it could lead you to those things putting out your fire, even if you think nothing will happen to you. A person has to be very, very careful that when you let these things into your neshama, these, bad speech or bad sight or bad food, this could go and affect your spirituality and put out your fire, and you'll wake up the next day, you won't be so connected. You will come to the prayer and you won't feel so connected. You come to the learning, you won't understand everything 100%, because your fire was being put out by the things you were consuming through your face, through the 7 orifices of your body, which leads, like they say, the eye is the window to the soul. So therefore, a person has to make sure that if you want to grow and keep your fire for Hashem and wake up every day motivated, you have to be careful what you do in your downtime. You have to be careful that you use that downtime. There are things that are positive and uplifting, and not necessarily things that could put out your fire. We have to go and be like Rabbi Nachman says, Breslev bor esh. His students used to say, there's a fire in Breslev, Be'erot ha'belibi, Rabbi Natan used to say, that there's a fire in Breslev, Hashem make it, that the fire should be in my heart. And he says that Rabbi Nachman used to say that my fire will burn until Mashiach will come. So a person wants to have that his motivation should last, he has to make sure that he doesn't let these impure things put out his fire, rather be strong and pray and ask Hashem to help you to overcome the